Welcome to the Morning Track Power Hour. I am Dr. Andrew Scaff. He is Dr. Michael Werman, Esquire. On today's show, eventually we'll get to talk about the Kansas City Royals and their at least minor bounce back, uh, and their finally announcing some actual stadium plan news and about a downtown park for the future Royals. We'll talk a little bit about the NBA and NHL playoffs, but we'll begin today's show with the NFL draft. Mike, the Chiefs, we thought maybe would draft a relatively balanced offensive defense. Ended up going a little bit heavier to the defensive side early, especially. Mike ended up the Chiefs ended up trading up a few spots to number 6 to take cornerback Mansoor Delane. Is that who you were expecting to pick? And what do you think about the pick?
I wasn't who I expected. I wasn't sure because Chiefs. I think people thought Delane, at least if you followed the mock drafts of people like Mel Kiper and stuff like that, Delane was going to last until maybe 9 or 10, and
Hmm.
that's where the Chiefs were. So you think so the idea was maybe the Chiefs didn't need to trade up to get him, but I think he ended up being the only cornerback taken fairly early, so he was seen as kind of head and shoulders above the other corners. I think there was another
Who was the
Chris
second
Johnson.
taken
Chris
late in the
Johnson taken
first
like number
round?
29 or something like that.
Yeah.
And that's the other cornerback taken in the second round. So Delane was seen as kind of the premier prospect in that group. So I guess if you wanted the number one of somebody, you had to trade up. Maybe you had to trade up and get him because I think maybe there was a couple of surprises early in the draft. I think people thought that Carnell Tate, the wide receiver, wasn't going to go all the way up. I actually predicted him to go to the Chiefs. He ended up going number 4 to Tennessee, and that kind of. And I think people thought that maybe New Orleans or Washington was looking at Delane as well. So the Chiefs ended up trading with Cleveland at number from number 9 to number 6 to get him. So when I saw that they traded, I thought, well, maybe they could have gotten him at number 9, but maybe they probably know better than what I know about what other teams were looking for. So probably that's what they had to do. They ended up giving away, I think, a third and a fourth round pick or something like that.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I think if you think the Delane is going to be the a replacement for um,
McDuffie?
Trent McDuffie, yeah, then that was probably a good pick because and Delane is actually a lot bigger than McDuffie. I think he's like 6'1" or something like that. So McDuffie was kind of a little guy. Delane is sort of the bigger, sort of Sauce Gardner kind of sized premier corner. So
Yeah.
um, yeah, so maybe he's the guy to. Yeah, maybe he was the guy to get it, number 6, I guess. So I think it was a really good pick. Again, we won't know until they actually start playing. From what I read, he allowed the second fewest first downs of any cornerback uh, of in the in college football last year. And then the fourth
Yeah.
round, and then in the fourth round, the Chiefs got the cornerback who allowed the fewest first downs. So the top two was a Kennedy, a guy
Hmm.
from Oregon.
Yeah, Kennedy.
Yeah, was the second pick, um, and was the fourth round pick, and he apparently had allowed the fewest of uh, first downs by any running back. So the Chiefs ended up at least getting, yeah, Jaden Kennedy. He's listed as a safety, but I think the Chiefs are going to play him as might try him as like a nickel back or something like that. I'm not sure. Maybe they'll play him at safety. The Chiefs move people around a lot. Um, but yeah, so they ended up going pretty hot. So we said defense early. So they got two secondary players and players in I mean, two primary players, but in the secondary. Uh, and
Yes.
and then they also they had a second first round draft pick. They picked Peter Woods out of Clemson, a defensive tackle. I think was that a surprise to you, or did you uh, predict something like that?
Well, it seemed like they needed some additional help on the defensive line, so that makes sense that they grabbed somebody. A little surprised that they, went defense in the first round, but I mean, they did have a lot of players exit from last year's starting roster
Yeah.
from the defense, so it makes sense to be that you want to make sure that you've got that covered. But I assume that they must think that they have the offense of weapons relatively handled, and then it was just because there were so many players exiting on the defensive side, they wanted to make sure that that was uh, well covered. It seems like they
Yeah.
got some like expected starters for first game
hmm
this coming
It seems like
season.
Woods, I had read and heard that he was a potential top five pick going into the season, and then Clemson had a kind of disappointing year, so he ended up dropping. But I think everybody thought he was going to be a first round pick. It seemed like, at least from the many of the pundits that we looked at their drafts, they actually predicted him to go a little higher than the Chiefs got him. But I think people thought maybe the Chiefs would get, if they're going to go defensive line, they're going to go like a defensive end type
Mm,
player first, because I think you have
edge rusher.
Chris Jones in the middle. So maybe this is almost a Chris Jones replacement kind of pick for Woods, and Jones is getting up there in years, maybe, or
Yeah,
maybe just somebody to take pressure off of him as well,
yeah,
or somebody who can go in the inside, and then Jones oftentimes he lined up on the edge anyway,
yeah.
um, in passing situations. So maybe this just allows him to do that more. So I think both picks were pretty good. Then they picked an edge rusher, number 40 overall, R. Mason Thomas. Do you like that his name is R. Mason Thomas? Do you know what does the R stand for? Do you know?
I have no idea what the R stands for. Or does it stand for anything? Maybe it's just the letter R.
He's not R. Mason Thomas. He's your Mason Thomas. Apparently the R is R.
Yes.
According to Wikipedia, he's only R. They don't have a first name. He's just R. Mason. Um, yeah, I don't see any first name of his. Yeah, R. Mason is his full first name, not his abbreviation. So I think it fits in with maybe Harry S. Truman as a
Yeah.
uh, other famous Kansas City area native. So maybe he'll fit in well with the Chiefs as R. Mason Thomas. Yeah,
It
he's
does
just
not have a period after the R, so
yeah,
it would fit the Harry S. Truman mold then.
yeah. R. Mason doesn't stand for
I'm not
anything.
sure I've seen that as a first used as in the first position though. Have you seen that before?
He says his first name is R. Mason. There's a space in between the capital R and the capital M. My mom didn't want me to be an R name, but they have R's, so but she wanted to keep it going, so she just said R. Mason. Uh,
All
he
right.
did not say the R until later in high school. He would just say Mason. So uh, he likes R. He goes by R. Mason now. So that's an interesting name. I didn't know all that. R. Mason Thomas. So he's not Mason R. Thomas.
Right. Mason time.
R. Mason. But yeah, no period at the end of R,
Yeah.
like Harry S. Truman.
The
Uh,
Chiefs did end up switching to offense in the later rounds of the draft. They did pick up a more versatile running back out of Nebraska, Emmett Johnson.
Emmett Johnson, yeah, he had a really good season. I think he led the Big Ten in rushing, and was supposed to be very good out of the backfield as well. So they got Kenneth Walker. They brought in a couple other players. You kind of wonder maybe what Johnson might be a third down back kind of player. You kind of wonder
Yeah.
what Rashard Smith might be on the outs just after 1 year. He was
Eh,
drafted, I think, seventh rounder last year.
yeah.
We'll see what happens with him.
I don't know if that
Um,
means that much at this point. I mean, it doesn't hurt to have, more than two running backs on your
mhm.
in your roster, though.
Yeah, they also brought in a guy for free agency. I can't remember his
Yeah.
name from the Cardinals. Um,
After the draft,
Before the draft.
uh,
Let me
I
look
haven't
him.
I haven't been following it quite that closely. Because a lot of times they like sign a bunch of players after the draft too.
This is yeah, Amari DiMercato they signed in March.
Hmm.
Uh,
I do remember
he
saying that name.
Amari DiMercato, 1 year contracted, a little over $1 million, so not a ton well, a lot of money for us, but not a ton of money for a football player.
Right.
Um, I don't think either of us would mind making 1.25 million.
I wouldn't turn it down, Mike.
We probably wouldn't work for. I wouldn't work for a few years if I made that much money in 1 year. Probably, I'd probably take a little
What
bit.
if you had to go through an NFL training camp to get your $1.2 million?
I think I'd go through a training camp. I don't know. Would if I got injured and just sat on the sidelines, would that count as going through training camp, or would I have to participate every uh, day
I
and
think
get?
I think you probably need to try to participate, and then I mean you're gonna get injured though. I think there's like no way
Yeah,
around it, right?
yeah,
We're a bit on the aged side of
yeah.
being
We'd
able
be,
to be in that kind of shape to play maybe even flag football in the backyard with friends
yeah, we might be in the concussion
without taking
protocol.
injuries.
I'd be in the concussion protocol most of the time. With a blue tent.
Yeah, and just hang out in the blue tent all day.
Yeah, yeah,
Collect your $1.25 million, Mike.
yeah. That's what I would do.
Yeah,
I try to play as little as possible.
yeah.
Try to stay healthy.
Go through the drills, just not the contact part, right?
Yeah, I'd wear one of the yellow jerseys or whatever the non-contact,
Yeah, yeah.
like the quarterback. Well, they don't have as much tackling in training camp as they used to,
Right.
so I don't want to get everybody injured. So maybe I could last a little bit longer, but they do, I'm sure, have a lot of cardiovascular work that they do, and I'd be tired and in bad, not in good shape. But
Very sore every
yeah,
day after
yeah,
the first day, or maybe
yeah,
even during the first day.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah, I don't think I could make it. I could be one of the coaching staff. I could probably handle the rigors that Andy Reid goes through in terms of his physical activity. But
Yes.
maybe not one of even the younger assistant coaches might be able to uh, running. I'm not sure, but yeah, I think so the Chiefs. Yeah, they ended up going offense. Emmett Johnson, fifth round. Sixth round was Cyrus Allen, wide receiver out of Cincinnati. I think the Chiefs also picked up a guy from Cincinnati on the practice squad that was supposed to be very good, who had like a, I'm gonna look him, I'm looking him up right now because I can't remember his name. Um, Jeff Caldwell, he's supposed to be the most athletic, one of the most athletic players of all time. So there's this thing called the Raw Athletic Score. Have you heard of this? That they measure people's like vertical jump and um, 40-yard dash time and like shuttle drill, cone drill, and stuff like that. And they put it and they like weight and height, and they put it all like in this thing, and it's a score out of 10. If you get 10 out of 10 is the perfect raw athletic score. So if you're like a 9 point something high, that's what the Chiefs like to pick. But this Jeff Caldwell guy was a 10 out of 10. I think he's I think other than Calvin Johnson, I think he was the best, most athletic wide receiver in the last 25 years or something like that.
Uh,
Um, but he wasn't drafted, Jeff Caldwell. So he's 6'5", 216 pounds, and he runs like a uh, low 40 yard
this is
dash.
4.431
Yeah,
40-yard dash.
4.31. So yeah, so that's pretty fast. if he's
Yeah.
that big. I think it's like Xavier Worthy ran like a 4.21, I think, and he's like tiny. Um,
Yeah, he's not 6'5".
no. Um,
You could drive a 4.31, Mike.
in 40, yeah, probably. Well, it depends on I don't know about my car. Yeah, I think I can get there.
Yeah,
Depends.
it depends on what kind of surface you're starting on, though, too,
Maybe
right? If
not
you're
on
on
maybe not
grass,
on
probably not, right? I mean, if
not
you're
on
on,
no, I'd have to really kind of ease it out.
yeah, you're gonna lose time like right off the gun, right? So,
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. We pick it up later. I don't know. Yeah,
yeah,
depends on what car.
yes.
Um, but
40 yards is very far in a car, though. It's
no,
I,
no. But yeah, Cyrus. So Cyrus Allen was drafted from Cincinnati, and then this Jeff Caldwell guy was picked up as a free agent, undrafted free agent from Cincinnati. So I'm a little actually more excited about this Jeff Caldwell guy because he is supposedly this athletic freak that may make the roster at some point, or at least the practice squad, and turn into somebody who could make the roster. Maybe I guess I don't know why he wasn't drafted at all. Maybe because maybe he just can't catch the ball. Uh,
yeah, I don't
that's
know.
somebody you could also maybe pick as a defensive back if they're that athletic
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that tall,
Maybe you can learn another position, or
or have him put on some weight and become a tight end or something like that.
yeah.
Would be something. The
Well, I
Chiefs don't
mean,
really.
there are ways to get the ball to players if he's that fast, right? So,
Yeah,
like, you can always run people out of the backfield. Like they've been fairly inventive with how to get the ball to players.
yeah,
But if he's 6'5", he should be outsizing almost all of the defensive backs,
yeah,
possibly by a lot, right? So, like, I mean, that's in like getting into like the Calvin Johnson size too, right?
yeah. Yeah, there's a CBS Sports article that says he may be the uh, uh, undrafted gem of the 2026 NFL draft. Yeah,
I just saw this too. The another undrafted free agent that the Chiefs picked up was EJ Smith, who is Emmitt Smith's
son.
son.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So the Emmett Smith's son. Emmett Smith wasn't the most athletic running back, but he was pretty good. He
Yeah,
was, but yeah, all-time NFL leading rusher. So he's not nothing to sneeze at. So maybe his son will be.
yeah.
Uh, would you rather have Emmett Smith's son than who else's son? Has become a I don't know.
Deion Sanders' sons are in the league.
Shador, yeah, give Shador Sanders.
Shador Sanders. Yeah.
Um, he's been doing okay. Although the Browns drafted another quarterback in the draft this year. I don't remember.
Oh, I didn't pay attention to that.
They drafted him. I think it was they drafted the Arkansas quarterback, Talon Johnson, or I can't remember his name. But yeah, they drafted
Talon Green
Talon Green. That's right.
in the sixth
Yeah.
round. Yeah, it's from Arkansas.
And he was the most athletic quarterback prospect. Um,
6'6", 227. That's a tall,
yeah.
decently tall QB.
hmm Yeah, he was, I think, seen as kind of a comp to like Anthony Richardson, although Richardson went
Yeah.
first overall, like almost like third or fourth overall, but has been kind of a bust, of course, in the
Yeah,
NFL because
highly athletic, but not necessarily.
injury prone and maybe not polished at all. So that's what Taylor Green's kind of like him, I think. Um, but that could be he could compete for a starting job in Cleveland. You would think, at least something like that, or at least be a gadget type of player. Maybe sort of Justin Fields like. The Chiefs might use Justin Fields in the same way. We also didn't mention the Chiefs drafted a seventh round quarterback in Garrett Nussmeier from LSU, who at one point was supposed to be a first round pick, at least in the early days of the 2025 college football season. But he slid all the way to the seventh round because of some injuries that he had his senior year and kind of some less, so not as good. He didn't have a very great stat line his senior year either. But Yeah, he was at least 1 point projected to be a first round pick. He's a little on the older side. I think he's 24, but maybe he's a future backup quarterback for Mahomes that the Chiefs will develop ahead of maybe somebody like Oladokun or whatever. So yeah, I think that could be a good pick too. So I'm impressed with the Chiefs draft this year, but you never know what's going to look like. You have to wait usually 2 or 3 years to evaluate a draft class to see how good it is. At least um, usually, I think it takes a little while to see. Sometimes you can see results in the first year, um, like the Chiefs' 2022 draft class, the defensive class that had George Karlaftis and um, Trey McDuffie. They won Super Bowls in 2 years in a row. So maybe this will be another good defensive heavy draft class that will win some Super Bowls for the Chiefs.
Yeah, nothing, no crazy picks. They didn't seem like right. Like they didn't go like wide. Like they didn't draft anybody that has like a questionable past or uh, right, outstanding
Yeah, not that I
warrants or
no,
anything
no,
like that this time. Yeah,
not that I saw. I think they've had maybe they think they have enough of those players right now, so they can only
yeah,
handle. I guess there's still, still possibility they'll go after Tyreek Hill or something like that in free agency.
yeah.
He hasn't been picked up by anybody yet, or Stephon Diggs, I think, is still out there. Um, there are some wide receivers out there. The Chiefs didn't go really high in the wide receiver. They only, they went low rounds.
Mhm.
But we'll see what happens with that. Um,
But they're not trying to rebuild that room like from scratch though either. So it's
no, I think they thought that because Rashee Rice wasn't going to be suspended another part of this season,
right.
maybe
And
they're
Worthy's still there, and right, they still have some
yeah.
pieces. Yeah,
I think Juju is still out there if they want to bring him back.
yeah.
Uh, I think Hollywood Brown left,
I think
uh,
he signed elsewhere. Yeah, I haven't looked to
and
see like what their yeah. They don't list much for the depth chart at wide receiver. They have Rice and Worthy and Thornton as they have as the three right now, and then Remigio, Royals, Cyrus Allen, Brownlee, Jimmy Holiday, Andrew Armstrong are the players they have
yeah,
listed as the
yeah, but most of those guys aren't going
wide
to be on the
receiver.
team. Yeah,
So
Hollywood Brown's on the Eagles now. He was
yeah,
picked up.
that's right. But you're probably not going to be surprised if you see the Chiefs sign a wide receiver in free agency, are you?
No, probably not. Again, maybe that's why they're waiting. They were waiting a little while to pick up some. So like yeah, like somebody like Stephon Diggs or somebody like Tyreek Hill if he's healthy enough.
Yeah,
That would probably be the ideal player, but maybe they think they have enough guys as it is too. Hopefully they can keep. I think last year they thought that Rice and Worthy were both going to be really good, but then Worthy got hurt very early on. Rice was suspended much of the year,
yeah.
so they never quite got going. Thornton, they also kind of underutilized, I thought, a
He
lot of the
looked
year. They
pretty good in like one of the early games, and they
stopped
never
throwing, and
quite, yeah, got him like fully incorporated. It seemed like into like actual like offensive plan. They take a shot at him once or twice, and if they didn't get it, they didn't seem to go back to it very often, though, did they?
no, he was, or they only went to him like deep. They didn't use him as another type of receiver.
Yeah, which made him into a kind of a one-dimensional thing, and that's kind of easier to
Yeah.
defend. Yeah,
Thornton's still only 25 years old.
yeah.
He'll be 26 in August, so he's still pretty young. Um, yeah, Thornton was drafted, I believe, the same draft as Sky Moore.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah,
Well,
same draft as Sky Moore. Thornton was taken in the second round ahead of.
uh, well, overall in this draft, we did pretty well with our predictions. I think I don't remember exactly what number we said for how many trades we expected to see in the first round. Was it 4.5 or 5.5?
Yeah, something like that.
So,
And it ended up being
somewhere
like
in
eight.
there. Ended up being eight. We said that it would be over, and it was. We
Mhm.
also thought there would be more than one QB selected in the first round.
Yeah, and Ty
A
Simpson
little
went
bit of
number
a
13
surprise, but
overall to the Los Angeles Rams, which was a bit of a surprise, and I think was a surprise even to some of the Rams uh, coaching staff. Sean McVay was, I think, surprised that the management decided to take Simpson instead of a player that could help them this year. Simpson's maybe is a future. Mahomes. Kind of like when the Chiefs got Mahomes, he was seen as not somebody who would help in year one, but somebody who would help beyond that. Of course, the Rams have Matthew Stafford, who's maybe going to be around for a little while longer. We don't know how long, much longer, but they ended up picking really Ty Simpson, who's kind of a development. He's sort of on the older side, but he's also kind of a developmental quarterback because he hasn't played a lot either. He doesn't have a lot of tape. He only started one season, whereas Mahomes had started 3 seasons, I think, at Texas Tech before he got drafted. So there's a lot more tape on him, a lot more experience as a starter than Simpson was, who's only started for 1 year in Alabama. So, but we'll see what happens with him go down the road. But yeah, only two quarterbacks taken in the first round. Um,
Stafford is on the last year of his contract right now
okay.
for this coming season. So yeah, he would theoretically become a free agent after 2026 season. So drafting a replacement isn't totally crazy.
No.
But
But
if they hadn't talked about it, it's a little surprising. If the
But maybe, yeah, 13
coaching
is,
staff is surprised, then that's probably odd, right? At best.
yeah, I think at 13, maybe it's a little uh strange.
Yeah.
Uh,
They didn't trade up. That was their pick. So maybe they could have traded back a bit and still gotten him even.
yeah, that's the question. Could they have traded
Yeah.
back? Um, Les Snead, the general manager of
You don't
the,
really want to hear that your head coach is surprised at a pick, though, do you?
no, I don't think so either.
You'd
But
assume
maybe,
that they're like involved in the decision, not like you shouldn't be surprised, right?
yeah, yeah, I don't know. I think there was some indications that he was somewhat glum looking during the press conference when they announced the Simpson
Hmm.
pick. So maybe he was not enthralled by it. Um, but that's who they got. He had some other, yeah, Fernando Mendoza, of course, was the number one overall pick to the Raiders. Those are the two quarterbacks taken in round one. There were several other quarterbacks taken in the other rounds, but not a ton of quarterbacks this year. It wasn't like 2 years ago where six quarterbacks went in the top 12.
Including some surprises though too that year.
Yeah, Bo Nix and Penix were kind of surprises that high.
Yeah,
Um, J.J. McCarthy maybe that high. But
yeah,
I think we all knew they were going to go in the first round, but maybe that early in the first round was not expected.
right. That concentrated,
Hmm.
yeah, number of picks the same, yeah, of the same
Hmm.
position type is strange. Yeah.
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 Do you want to move on to talking NHL playoffs and NBA playoffs? What
Maybe
do you want
just
to talk
real
about that?
quickly though, just maybe mention that our mock drafts
Or
in the
mock drafts,
NFL, we didn't we did each do our own mock draft, and we fared fairly well compared to the experts. It is not easy to get picks correct because there's so much variability in like what happens across the course of the draft. But yeah, we were within one or two picks of the number of correct picks by any of the experts that we follow. Like Mel Kiper, I think he had 5 picks that were exactly correct, but only got to 5 because he got the very last pick of the first round correct, Mike.
Yeah, he got the running back to Seattle, Jadarian from the second Notre Dame running back,
Price. Yeah.
Jadarian Price. Yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise, I would have tied him for a number of correct picks in round one. Like, so,
Yeah, you would have. Yeah.
oh,
So you were just as good as
Kuiper.
they should have you as the analyst on there instead of Mel Kiper or the. I was watching the draft. I was watching it on ESPN Plus.
Yeah.
It was the what's his name? Who was the I can't remember his name. Who was the punter for the Indianapolis Colts, who's now like a sports broadcaster kind of
I know
guy.
Field Yates is on there all the time. I don't know. Was
Blonde,
he?
this blonde guy. I can't remember his name.
Oh,
I
I don't
feel like
know.
I can't remember who this is. Um, um, it's just my mind is just blanking. Um,
McAfee.
Pat McAfee. Yeah, Pat
Yeah.
McAfee. Pat McAfee. I was watching Pat McAfee's draft coverage,
Okay.
and he had a guy who was a Mel Kiper impersonator, uh,
Oh,
uh, or at least the guy who impersonates Mel Kiper sometimes as a draft guy, and he was really funny. He had a good Mel Kiper kind of voice,
what
and
what would you call a Mel Kiper doppelganger?
I think he was Mad Mel Kiper or something like that. I can't
Uh,
remember, but yeah, McAfee had yeah he had like Bill Cowher and some of the like bigger name people on as well, but he also
Actually, or people that look like Bill Cowher.
actual Bill Cowher, actual um, uh, yeah. Um, some other actual pundits, but
Faux Kiper.
yeah, faux Kuiper, who's kind of funny. Yeah, Dan Orlovsky was on there for a while.
Yeah.
Um, some other well-known ish. Yes, Peter Schrager, some well-known ish NFL analysts were on that broadcast as
Yeah.
well.
ESPN personalities and analysts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can't really remember Pat McAfee's name. Um, I should remember who has Aaron Rodgers' friend as well.
Yes. Yeah.
But yeah,
Frequent guest on the McAfee show.
yeah, he was a punter though for the Indianapolis Colts for a brief period.
Yeah.
That's what I know him for.
Yeah.
His NFL his punting prowess. Um, but yeah, so we did fairly well in terms of our guesses. Yeah, the at least the experts aren't that much better at it than we are, although they do a lot more work, probably our own original work. We just kind of piggyback off their um, information, but you wonder how much they piggyback off other people's information um,
Yeah.
to get
Yeah.
their
It's not that great. So I mean, we're essentially doing the same, like the taking the Baseball Digest or Sporting News or Baseball America, whatever whichever we talked, whichever publication we talked about before about in the
Mhm.
for baseball drafts, and saying like, oh, these are the best prospects. Like, how do you match them to the team and the needs that they have? That's basically what we're doing. That seems like that's basically what the other experts are doing as well, because we ended up
Mhm.
having very similar drafts to what actually happened.
Yeah.
Equally inaccurate, I think, is really the correct descriptor.
Yeah, or at least yeah, or equally accurate or equally inaccurate, depending on what you want how glass half full, half empty you want to be. Um, yeah.
So maybe before we lead into the next section, like, have you already prepared your version one 2027 NFL draft mock draft? Have you already done
I
that?
have not. I'm way behind the curve on this one. I think Field Yates probably already has his, or some other pundits may have their own first rounds put forth next year. I'm sure Mel Kiper will put forth his for at least his first round next year, maybe his big board going
Yeah,
in. But yeah, last year I think I mentioned, yeah, it would have been the Chiefs would have picked very very highly because I think Nussmeier and Peter Woods both would have been high up on the first round draft pick spots. So um, that's an interesting draft that the Chiefs got. Maybe they got some value. Again, maybe Um, just because you slip down, maybe 2024 production is just as insightful as 2025 production for a lot of these players. It's hard to say. But I feel like I did okay in the selections. But yeah, you did a little bit better. Although I was a little bit closer when it came to the um, what was it, the proximity picks.
Where you selected them versus where they actually
Mhm.
went.
Yeah,
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 you were
that
about
was
20 picks better than I was.
But you picked several more exact than I got. I think I only got Fernando Mendoza correct exactly, and then I picked I didn't go with David Bailey's number two. You did that, and so you got two, and you got a couple more down the line. So you did a great job on some of those exact picks, even better than a lot of the prognosticators. Um, so
You
yeah,
were only like one pick off on six other players from where they were actually drafted. Like
yeah,
they went to different teams or they got picked one before the team that you thought would pick them, sort of thing. But so like you were really close on a lot of them. It's just yeah, I mean,
yeah,
there's
yeah.
just too many variables to be
Too
like
many
accurate
variables.
in
Yeah.
this.
You have teams trading. You also have the other picks that are picked, and then that affects everything going forward too. So it's
Right.
very um,
Yeah, it's not a very good if you're trying to bet on something, it's not a very good thing to do. If you're trying to
mhm.
like pick players in exact slots, you're very unlikely to get them correct. What the further away from pick number one you go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah. You were in the proximity score, you were only four off of Kuiper. Like
Yeah. So and this is his job professionally. So it's only our uh, second job, I guess.
hobby,
Not our day job.
enthusiast. I
Not
don't
our
know.
day job. Yeah.
No. We talk about all the sports equally without with the same amount of knowledge base.
hmm
Yes, we don't spend all of our time just on the NFL draft.
No. Speaking of which, we're going to switch over to talking about the NHL and NBA playoffs, both underway. Only a couple of series have been decided at this point. There haven't really been any huge surprises yet,
Hmm.
although if you're rooting for Canadian teams in the NHL, it's not looking so good right now. Uh, the Oilers are on the ropes, and the Senators have already been eliminated by the Hurricanes, so there's only the Montreal Canadiens that have a really good shot at winning their first series. So it looks like probably this will be another American year to win the Stanley Cup, and very possibly another warm weather American city to win the Stanley Cup. Um, anything about the NHL playoffs? Uh,
Well, well, there are a couple. I mean, there are a couple of. I mean, the favorite probably is Colorado, I think, right? And you
yeah,
would you probably wouldn't refer to them as a warm weather team,
no,
as
definitely not.
and you've got Buffalo in there too as a one seed also. So there are plenty of cold weather teams contending this year,
Yes. So hopefully, uh, yeah, cold weather
but
teams come through,
but
but
already down one
no
Canadian team.
Canadian teams are looking. Yeah, and and if the Canadian teams lose, they will each lose to a warm weather American team. The Anaheim Mighty Ducks are up 3-1 on the Oilers. The Tampa Bay Lightning are tied 2-2 with the Canadians, and the Carolina Hurricanes swept the Ottawa Senators. So it's not just they're losing to an American team, but they're losing to warm weather American uh, teams.
Yeah.
Uh, so
That
that's
that did follow with what our prediction was before the playoffs season started was that we thought the Canadian teams were less likely to win Stanley Cup than the Oklahoma City Thunder would be to repeat in the NBA, though.
Yeah, the NBA Thunder are the only team actually that have finished the series their series. They're up four. They won 4-0 over uh, was it Phoenix that they play?
Yep. Yeah, Phoenix.
Um, so they beat these eighth seeded Phoenix Suns 4-0. Although it looks like maybe now tonight the Spurs might be the other team in the West to advance. They're up 3-1 over the Trailblazers, and they're up by 21 points in the third quarter right now. So, and Wembanyama seems to have recovered from his brief injury, and the Spurs are playing pretty well.
He did miss almost all of the game two that we were following
Mhm.
while we were recording our previous episode.
Yeah.
He missed the next game and then has returned and played pretty well in the last two games, though.
Yes.
So it looks like he's healthy enough to at least be competitive to get through this round. Hopefully, be full strength going into the next round. Give the Spurs a shot anyway.
Hmm.
Any teams exciting you right now, or just sort of seeing what happens and just going with it?
See what happens. I'm excited about, kind of excited about the Lakers possibility. That I think LeBron's been playing really well in the playoffs.
Yep.
I kind of want to see the Lakers make a run. So the Lakers, they could possibly, if the Lakers, the Lakers, if they win, if they advance, they will play uh, the Thunder in the next round. So that might be an interesting if they beat the Rockets. They're up 3-1 over the Rockets, and I think you mentioned before we went on the air that Kevin Durant is injured, so he won't be playing for Houston in the next game most likely. So might be a good chance for the Lakers to advance to the Western Conference semifinals.
And is Luca back, or is he still not playing?
Um,
Looks like he did not play the last game, so he may still not be back yet. Yeah, he didn't play the last either of the last two games. So if they're able to advance without Luka, that's probably good. If at least hoping that he can still return at some point,
yeah.
because that would make them more competitive against OKC if they can advance.
Mhm.
Yeah, but I guess we have to wait to see what happens with that.
Yes, we will wait and see.
Are you watching many of these games or
I haven't watched too many of them. I
no?
watched the play-in games more, but I've watched a little bit, but not a ton.
Yeah,
Um, yeah,
I've just kind of checked in on games. I haven't really gotten into the playoff spirit yet.
yeah. I might wait till the semifinals or the conference finals to really start paying attention. Um, I'll probably pay attention more to the NBA than the NHL, but who knows?
Uh, like in
Uh,
general, we tend to watch quite a bit more baseball than we do most of the other sports besides maybe football.
yeah. Well, speaking of baseball, should we talk a little bit about the Royals? They're heating up a little bit. They won 3 games in a row over the weekend over the Anaheim Angels or the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. Um,
Yes.
Swept them, including one game where they were down 6-0 to win in dramatic fashion in extra innings. Uh, and uh, and they've scored a lot of runs the last few games, so they're doing a lot better. They're 11 and 17 right now, which is still last place in the Central Division, AL Central Division, but they're only 3 games out right now, at least as of this broadcast. Only 3 games out of first place, so not too shabby, at least at this point. Or it could be a lot worse.
Exactly. Yeah, if Detroit or somebody had jumped out to a fast start, then this would be already looking at like a disaster type season with very little hope of contending. But Yeah, that comeback one, I think maybe one of the most important things that happened though was Jack Caglione did have a really clutch home run in the bottom of the ninth to tie it off of a left-handed pitcher too, Mike. So that's hopefully a sign that the Royals management should be playing him even if the starting pitcher facing the club is a left-hander. Just play him against
Yeah,
lefties.
play him more. Yeah, play him every game. Um,
There's no reason to purposefully platoon if he can actually hit lefties, and he just proved it in a very clutch spot. So
yeah,
let him play every day, no matter who's pitching. Is that
yes.
is that what you would have taken from that?
I think that help. I think that's certainly a good interpretation of what happened. So yeah, I would have. Yeah, I think especially if you project him to be one of your better players, you can take him so high, in the draft. You should probably want him to play against everybody and just have him play every day as much as you can, rather than platoon him.
Yeah.
Um, you have other kind of middling players if you need to platoon. I think they could rotate Collins and Thomas and Isbell. Maybe the three of them could play the two spots a little bit more. Um,
Yeah.
if you want to get them and then include the DH in there now. Because also now that well, maybe one the biggest piece of news in terms of injuries with Jonathan India is going to be out the rest of the season because he had a labrum tear in his shoulder that just got repaired. Um, so I guess there's one fewer person to take at bats away from some of the younger Royals players at this point. So um,
As it looks like Michael Massey will be maybe playing a little bit more at second base, and Nick Lofton will be filling in when necessary. Also,
mhm.
possibly taking an outfield spot when he can, because he's been pretty hot with the bat. So it seems like they need to find a spot for him to play at least some of the time.
Yeah, Lofton is playing right now. The Royals are playing the Athletics of no with no not the non-Sacramento Athletics, I guess. Um,
The cityless,
silent,
the
silent.
unhoused athletics.
Sacramento is silent Athletics. The Royals are losing
Yes.
right now, 1-0 in the top of the sixth, but anything could happen. Um, Bubic is pitching pretty well. Um,
Mm-hmm. That was that one.
only one run through 5 innings, although he's thrown 95 pitches already, so he might not pitch the sixth inning.
Yeah,
Um,
you might be done.
but yeah, the Royals are not. Yeah, they're not if five hits, no runs. They must be scattering their hits in a non-efficient way. Um,
Yeah.
so we'll see what happens with that game. If the Royals, so the Royals win, they'll only be 2.5 games out of first place by the end of the night, rather than.
Sure.
But even if they lose, worst case scenario is they're gonna be 3.5 games out of first, which isn't terrible, especially since the Royals have already had an 8-game losing streak this year. So
Yeah.
they've been playing better baseball. The offense has come alive a little bit. They picked up even when the pitching has been not so great in the last few games. So. Maybe that's just a good sign of things to come. Um,
It doesn't seem quite as dire as it did a week ago when we talked last.
no, they seemed really out of it a week ago, but fortunately, the rest of the Central has been kind of bad, so
Yeah.
it's helped the Royals quite a bit. Um, and maybe another thing that has made the Royals seem a little less dire is that the Royals do have a future going forward in terms of a new stadium now. The Royals teamed up with Hallmark Cards to build their new stadium in Crown Center. So the Hallmark crown and the Royals crown are going to be kind of aligned together. Maybe they're going to call it Hallmark Stadium or something like that. I wouldn't be surprised um, if they
No, it wouldn't be
did.
surprising. Yeah.
That might be a good name for it.
Well, the crown logo on the scoreboard would make perfect sense to be sitting there,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
The Hallmark crown. Um,
But it does seem like they finally have like a legitimate plan, and it seems to make sense on paper and in the renderings that they've shown.
Yeah, the view, it's going to be facing north towards the skyline. So that would be a better look, because they built the stadium down there, and they're all the renderings have been facing southwest or southeast away from the skyline,
Mhm.
which doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Well, the
Um,
stadium is part of the skyline, but the skyline is not featured
in the
from the
backdrop.
stadium. You
Yeah.
want it to be part of the stadium backdrop, where you're actually, or in the stadium, you're seeing the view of your beautiful city. That's what you want, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It looks like Salvador Perez tied the game, so it's 1-1 now. Home run to
Okay.
center for Perez. So maybe Salvi has been he's batting 200 now thanks to that home run. So maybe he's going to be above the Mendoza line the rest of the season. Um,
And that is considerably heating up from where he was because he was like in a low, like 150 or below
mhm.
a week ago, I think.
Pasquantino is still below 200,
Yeah.
but everybody else at least is above 200 in the Royals lineup now. Um,
And
it could,
Bobby Witt hit his first home run of the year in that comeback game as well. So that was another good sign. 'Cause, like basically everyone was struggling. So
yes.
it was nice to see them score some runs in that Angel series.
Yeah, they needed it, and they really needed that sweep. You feel bad for the Angels maybe, but not too bad. Um, yeah,
Although you'd like to see the Angels have bounced back after they played the Royals, you'd think, well, maybe the Royals are in a little bit better shape, but the Angels did lose two more games in a row after that series to the White Sox, who aren't
I
necessarily a very good team either.
no,
So, then
but
you've got to be a little bit wondering if maybe the Angels had been a little lucky or something with earlier in the season because I believe they had a winning record, I think, coming into the series against the Royals.
yeah, okay. Do you think so what year is the stadium going to be built? Is it 2030? Is that the first year of the new stadium? Is that sound
Yeah, so
right?
the expectation is that I think they're gonna break ground next year. So there is quite a bit of construction that needs to be done. I think they need to the current Hallmark headquarters will be coming down,
They'll rebuild that someplace else.
and then that's where the stadium will be going on the footprint of that current building. And then the Crown Center as it is will be remain the same, and the hotel will be the same. That won't be changed, I believe.
Weston
But
Crown Center, and then the Hilton and stuff will be down there.
yeah,
I Yeah, there's a parking lot. There's also a fairly large Catholic church that's in the where the parking lot will be. That I guess will probably stay in the same spot, Our Lady of Sorrows, but you might have to um, revamp that somewhat. But that's a very pretty Italianate kind of um, church. That have you noticed that building?
I've seen it. I don't really know it very well though. I don't think I've
Yeah.
ever been in it either.
It actually has a big crown, supposedly like over the altar, supposedly.
Hmm.
Um, uh, that was something that inspired Joyce Hall when he built the crown for the Hallmark Center.
Oh,
I think it's Our Lady of Sorrows. Yeah, Our Lady of Sorrows.
yeah.
There's a large crown over the altar. If you look it
Hmm.
up, uh,
Hmm.
um,
But that church is spared in this
in the renderings, yeah,
redevelopment though, right?
yeah, it's really pretty on the inside. Yeah, and it's pretty on the outside too. So it would be I guess Um, they already had I guess they had the Fellowship of Christian Athletes headquarters near the old stadium or the current stadium. Maybe this will be the new religious link to the new stadium. Uh,
Sure.
but yeah, it's in the parking lot of the Hallmark headquarters,
Wow.
basically. So
And
um,
I think in this plan, then the Washington Square Park is not destroyed. either. And this was
Mhm.
one of the things that had been talked about is using that as the site for the park, although it didn't seem like the stadium would fit there. Uh, but that means that they still keep that green space
Yeah,
near the stadium, which is always nice for, downtown areas to
yeah.
have
And
not
I think
just
it is,
buildings and concrete everywhere.
yeah, I think it won't affect like the streetcar
Right.
um tracks or anything like that either. So I think it'll also be good because the streetcar will have two or three stops right next to the stadium and Crown Center. Um,
Yeah, which should help with like what the typical stadium traffic is like now, because there's really no public transit there. At least, fans coming from the Northland should be able to stop somewhere around the River Market, hop on the streetcar, and take it down to the stadium.
yeah,
Fans south of town should be able to drive like, in the vicinity of the plaza, UMKC's
yeah,
location, grab on, jump onto the south end point of the streetcar and take it straight north to the stadium from there too. So like that really should help with the, dispersing some of the traffic maybe quicker than you would typically at, the current Kauffman Stadium setup.
yeah, yeah.
So that might
Hopefully
be nice.
they will use some of that, public transportation to help, and maybe have extra cars running on game days and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I know
I
like
think
Yankee,
the really important thing though is that there actually will be fans that live close enough they can walk to the stadium. So like even on days where there are like afternoon day games, like there should be decent number of fans that are able to go to the game without the inconvenience of having to go most of the way to Blue Springs to watch a game. It's more centrally located with the actual population center is right there. So but I think the downtown stadium we've talked about many times as being like where you would like to see it. It's nice to finally see a plan that makes sense with a location that makes sense, view of the skyline that makes sense. It's right on the public transit line. They
yes,
finally got it right. Isn't that what it seems like to you?
I think so too. Yeah, it's not our state line, uh, foul pole. Situation. That would be in the West Bottoms, but
Yes.
I think it's a pretty good location. I think it's something. Also, I think it's nice that Hallmark, one of the big Kansas City companies, paired with the Royals, and they're going to be
Mhm.
building most of it and spending most of the money. Where the city is going to be paying some, the state's going to be paying some, but this team and the corporation are going to be paying a lot of that money. So it's not going to be a lot of new tax money coming out of the Jackson County. Um, and then they can do something, maybe they could revitalize Truman Sports Complex somehow. I don't know what they'll do because the Chiefs are going to be moving to Kansas. At least the Royals are going to be moving to and staying in Missouri because that is something that will um, be much more beneficial to the surrounding area because 81 nights a year uh, there's going to be a game being played at the Royal Stadium. It's only 10 days a year that there's going to be a game being played um, at Arrowhead or the new Arrowhead, wherever that's going to be. So it's a much more, I think, it'll be much more of a piece of the fabric of the city and something that's used a lot more than a football
Yeah.
stadium downtown.
For
Although
economically and like practically and
might have
everything really,
concessions
right?
and
Yeah.
stuff or some
Yeah.
concerts at the football stadium, but you already have the Sprint Center for some stadiums for concerts and stuff like that. Maybe the Royal Stadium would be a little bigger venue for some concerts. Um,
Which
and
they do an occasional concert at Kaufman.
I could see them doing more at the new one
Yeah.
because it's closer to downtown. Because you had Arrowhead where a lot of concerts were, and maybe they won't have as you might have concerts still at Arrowhead, but being that far out, maybe not. I'm not sure. It's out by the legends and stuff like that. So I'm happy for the Royals. I'm happier that the Royals
Yeah.
stayed um, Kansas City. I'm still actually kind of hopeful that the Chiefs don't end up moving and they just put a new Arrowhead where um, the Royal Stadium currently is. If
Yeah.
they need a new Arrowhead and keep the Germans stay in Missouri, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Right. Yeah, it's pretty long odds for that to happen. I think there are some issues with Kansas's financing or how they
Mhm.
promise to like contribute funds for the project, but it's probably they seem to always figure out how to manufacture money out of this fund that they have that seemingly has no end. Kansas.
Kansas. Oh well. Um, Anything else we want to talk about, or should we wrap up this week's episode of the Power Hour?
What's the Royals are still 1-1? Is that where we are right now?
I think so.
Yeah, 1-1, middle of the sixth.
Mid
Yeah,
sixth.
so
Well, we won't stick around for two and a half more innings. Uh, we'll we'll
probably
we'll
not.
up, well we don't need to follow every
Not
inning of
even.
every game. But we'll be kind of keeping our eyes on the Royals as they take that West Coast road trip this week. Hopefully, they can get closer to 500. I think they're only 2-10 on the road this year right now, so they need to up that road record a little bit. They're uh, doing okay at home, but yeah, it's the road record that's really the sore spot right now. Um, but yeah, so
Yeah,
we'll
an 0-6 road trip doesn't ever go over very well, does it?
no. So we'll
Like the last one.
update us. We'll update you guys next week on the Royals. We'll talk more about the Chiefs if there's any new Chiefs news. We'll also keep talking about the playoffs in the NHL and the NBA. We'll be in the conference semifinals probably next week, uh, and maybe we'll see how those are shaping up as next week rolls around. So. Until then, I am Dr. Michael Werman. He is Dr. Andrew Scaff. We are the Morning Trek Power Hour. Please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel or our podcast, available on different podcast delivery platforms, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, all the different podcasts platforms that you are likely to use. We're happy for your patronage, your listenership, your viewership. We appreciate your sticking around and listening to us blather on and on every week as we have for the last 5 years or so. It seems like are we year five? Are we season five?
Season 6, I think, aren't we?
Or 6?
Yeah, I think season 6.
Ooh, season 6. Oh,
Yeah, season 6.
season 6 of the podcast. So we've done this for 6 years now. I guess we had five in a row. We had a year off in between, or a couple of years off in between season one and season two.
Yeah.
Um, but
Because we started in during the pandemic, I think, right? That's when we
yeah, I think we
actually,
started
so
pandemic. Yeah,
2020 would have been our first year.
yeah, yeah. But we've been around for a while. We're glad if you
Yeah.
hopefully you've been around for a while with us. But if not, we're glad you're with us now, even if you're joining us late in the game. We're happy that you've joined us, and we wish you good luck this weekend as you make your bets on the NBA or NHL playoffs. As long as your interest does not conflict with ours, and we don't really have any interest, so we're not really upset. Whatever you end up betting, we'll be happy for you if you win. We'll commiserate with you if you lose, and we'll just be here. Uh, Waiting patiently until next week to analyze all of the sports events that tickle our fancy between now and then. So, um, from me and from Dr. Scaff and us at the Warning Trek Power Hour, we wish you a good day.